So what kind of deals have you been negotiating over the last 6 months or so in this climate? And what's changed today compared to maybe a year ago?
Well, I would say on the office side, there's still a lot of activity. The good news about this market is the DC market is that the government isn't going anywhere. Amazon is coming. We've got a lot of universities taking the space. So there is a lot of deal flow. I don't want to exaggerate and say that it's really a bad market for transactions or for tenants. It's really the issue with the vacancy rate has hurt the valuation. And because of people working remotely, most tenants are taking less square foot. So they're sharing offices or having open floor plans where people come in twice a week and just share space.
That's contributing to this valuation question, because if you have less of a demand, that naturally is going to drive down the pricing as well.
Sure. So, what's going to happen with this 23% vacancy rate? The real estate market is very kind of resilient. It responds quickly to these challenges over the decades. Construction is very slow, so you're not going to see a lot of new buildings competing with these vacant properties. You see more and more older buildings get repurposed for residential. And that's real big across the country, real big in DC. There's some challenges there. It's not as easy as it sounds. The floor plans are often very big in this market, and residential or hotels or apartments are typically narrower because you need more window access. You need more, plumbing and infrastructure and HVAC. So it's not as easy as it sounds, but it is happening. And I'm sure that's going to continue over the next couple of years.
So what about on the lending side? Are you seeing much that's changed in terms of financing deals as well?
Well, it's a tough market. The interest rates are high. The banks and the borrowers are in a tough spot. If the borrower has a loan maturing this year or next with these kind of interest rates, it's a challenge. How that shakes out, we'll see. I haven't seen a lot of foreclosures in the numbers that maybe you'd expect, but I think this fall, next year is really going to tell the story about foreclosures and workouts and deeds in lieu. It's certainly coming.
I mean, certainly in the news and the local legal press and business press, we've heard of some pretty substantial commercial landlords defaulting on commercial loans, turning over packages of buildings back to lenders. So there's at least defaults and deed in lieu of foreclosures, but maybe not quite the volume of foreclosure work.
Well, I think it's just because of the timing. The loans that matured this year are at the front end, but almost all of those office properties are going to be worth much less than when the loan was taken out. So that's going to be an issue. There's not a lot of office buildings being sold right now because the market's still adjusting to what the true valuation should be. So I think we're kind of in a holding pattern unless the loan is maturing soon where you really don't have that flexibility. Maybe the banks will consider a short-term extension to give them more time to see how the market shakes out. If not, the borrower and the banks are going to have some tough conversations. And if they do enter into deeds in lieu or a true foreclosure, there is a complex agreement that you have to enter into, which talks about how that process works. But really, the issue there is going to be, the tax issues, to make sure that you understand how the borrower is impacted on the tax side if they have to discharge that debt. What happens to their tax liability?